Some of you may have heard the overview effect, which is described as a profound cognitive shift reported by some astronauts when viewing Earth from space, characterized by a sudden, intense realization of the planet's fragility, unity, and the absence of visible borders. And they say this experience often triggers a shift in perspective, fostering a deeper, long-term commitment to environmentalism, global stewardship, and an increased sense of interconnectedness with humanity. When you look down at Earth from space, you certainly see a common home. In particular, one of the things you notice is, as you're looking at the edge of the Earth, you can see the atmosphere, this very thin atmosphere that's 100 kilometers, but it's keeping us alive. And so I think that certainly makes you realize that this is a common home for all of us.
I think it's very important when we talk about the way that we work in space, that we talk about collaboration. I think we need to communicate to each other, to have more international, regional, and national conversations together with industry, that at the end of the day is part of the same ecosystem. Space is something that we all need to continue evolving, including the commercial operators. That way we will all benefit from the services that can be provided from space.
One point that is important and what was highlighted in the conference today is that space is not so much a Wild West. It's in fact highly regulated by a number of treaties, including the Outer Space Treaty, the fundamental document regulating space, but also the radio regulations and other documents.
Everyone on Earth is a stakeholder when it comes to space services. We rely on space services every day of our lives in ways that we don't even realize. If you conduct electronic financial transactions, you're using space. If you use Google Maps, if you are looking at the weather, all of those services that we take for granted in our day-to-day life do rely on space services.
The outer space is, in fact, from a long time and since the ancient time, a source of inspiration for philosophers, for artists, poets, and also for the religion. Why? Because in fact the outer space is an alterity, is something which is not built by the human, and in fact this alterity is a source of inspiration for many fundamental questions, like where does the universe come from, what is the meaning of human life, why are we in a so big universe. And in fact, all these questions are in fact addressed by this huge environment, this wonderful alterity. And we have not to destroy the outer space environment in the same way as we have not to destroy, for example, the wonderful landscape on Earth. And we have to extend ecology, if you want, to an ecology of the outer space, because in fact we have to respect what is given to us.
I think all the innovation that we are experiencing in this sector and in this industry is exciting and it's exhilarating when we see companies precisely investing and doing research on how to remove debris, how to build satellites in a way that are safer and more sustainable, and also help on the debris mitigation, but also to see how the industry and the operators collaborate between them and together with the public sector, with governments, to ensure that we do better, not only more, but also that we continue ensuring that and fostering an innovation in the sector.
It actually doesn't require the outer space treaty, but it does require recommitting to the frameworks that we currently have. It also requires that we act together. So this is not just a government issue. Obviously, it's also an industry issue, but it's important that academia is engaged, that civil society is engaged, and that we strengthen cooperation, transparency, and the efficient and equitable use of shared space resources.
First of all, I think it's important to highlight that the Outer Space Treaty is a treaty of principles. So we cannot really ask it to do more than it was developed to do. So it is up to us, to the international community, to states as they find common understanding around the meaning of those principles and develop norms and new regulations around those principles. I think if we could say that the Outer Space Treaty is at risk, the reason why would be because we don't rely on it enough. I think that in multilateral discussions, we sometimes fall into the trap of trying to reinvent the wheel instead of relying on the foundations that we already have. And the Outer Space Treaty is the ultimate foundation for everything space-related. So we should encourage the international community to use it more. When they see something going wrong, when they see a potential breach, they should point to the Outer Space Treaty as a mechanism that we all have to rely on and that we all have to comply with.
The first practical step that humanity should take, I would say, to build a fraternity in space, I would say to respect what is already in place, which is the Outer Space Treaty, which is nearly 60 years old. And this is one of the purposes of our publication, exactly, to elaborate and show that how much these principles are in line with the principles of the Catholic social doctrine, of the respect of the human dignity. It's a treaty to which nearly 120 states have adhered, among which the major spacefaring nations, and it is in force, and it recognizes that the use and the exploration of the universe is the province of mankind.
So it's not really the Wild West. Still, it was a choice to create this treaty. It is not by default that they exist, so there needs to be a continuous commitment to this treaty to make sure that, as you mentioned, what we observe on Earth, the digital divide, does not become unbridgeable in space.
A healthy competition is something necessary to ensure that we continue to innovate, not only in a technological way, but also when it comes to business models, to make the services more affordable, to lower the cost, but also to reach farther and beyond the actual geographical barriers or economical barriers, so that we can bring connectivity to everyone everywhere. So in our case of the satellite communication industry, it definitely is necessary, and in all industries, to ensure we continue to evolve and move forward and challenge ourselves.
So in the past, space endeavors were the realm of 10 nations maximum. But nowadays we have 80 nations that operate a satellite in space, much of the time through national private companies. This is why we need international cooperation to bring all these actors together to discuss and find solutions mutually by consensus.
I think for the satellite industry, space is our bread and butter. It's where we need it to be sustainable and to be safe so that we can continue deploying our services. It is very important for the satellite industry that space remains a safe space for now and for future generations. So I already think that there is a change in mindset also from the industry's point of view. And from the association GISOA, we have published a code of conduct in 2023 that already pointed a few actions and a few main points that we need to take care as industry and work towards if we want to maintain space safe and sustainable for everyone.
The ambiguity inherent to space operations really establishes a very ripe environment for a security dilemma. With the technology that we currently have, it's relatively easy to know what is out there, but not necessarily why. So the not knowing why causes states to fall into a belief of a worst case scenario. They tend to believe that something that they don't know why it's out there is something that could potentially threaten them. So they tend to develop their own technologies to protect themselves, and these technologies tend to be counter-space capabilities that are able to attack and harm and disable other satellites. So increased transparency would be a way to mitigate this security dilemma issue. There are some delegations that use a phrase that I really like, which is war in space can never be won and should never be fought.
Is to ensure with the decisions that are taken that space is respected and utilized only and explored only peaceful uses and for the benefits of all.
What is important is to really try to design actual mechanisms that can coexist and that can ensure that this is not simply a noble principle, equitable access to space, but an actual regulatory and treaty mechanism that ensure it in practice.
I think we owe to the future generations the fact, first of all, to the respected implementation of the existing outer space normative and law, and we should avoid to divert from it. Secondly, there is competition, but let's make it an organized competition. Let's avoid that it becomes a Wild West. Let's try to make it the first step for a healthier and cooperation to the benefits of all.
I think all the innovation that we are experiencing in this sector and in this industry is exciting and it's exhilarating when we see companies precisely investing and doing research on how to remove debris, how to build satellites in a way that are safer and more sustainable, and also help on the debris mitigation, but also to see how the industry and the operators collaborate between them and together with the public sector, with governments, to ensure that we do better, not only more, but also that we continue ensuring that and fostering an innovation in the sector.
We have to explore our outer space. This exploration has to be coherent with the human dignity and has to serve human dignity and common good. If we go to the outer space only to affirm a kind of a will of power. In fact, we have first to tackle our problems of justice, of sharing resources, and it would be completely incoherent to go outside and to escape, just to forget, and then if the outer space can of course serve human dignity on Earth, can serve to solve medical problem, to solve the problem of the human on the Earth, then outer space will be in fact a human centric space, if you want, a common space for all the humanity.
Space really provides a lot of inspiration. It serves as a bridge builder between communities.
Space is always a place for dreamers. It's something that makes us dream, it's something that makes us wonder, and I think it's something that makes us more constant in our achievements and in our goals.
Space is such a hopeful environment that even in really dire circumstances, like for example the Cold War, you could get two adversaries actually talking to each other because they wanted to advance together when it came to space exploration, and I think that's very inspirational.
One of the things I loved about being on board the International Space Station with astronauts and cosmonauts from other countries is it gave you an opportunity for dialogue. And certainly while I was on board during both of my missions, there were conflicts that were happening on the ground. And so what was neat about the space station is you could talk about it, and none of us felt threatened by the other group or the other astronauts. And so by being able to have that conversation, by being able to listen and understand the other points of views, I think that goes a long way towards being able to resolve those conflicts.
Don't know if there is anyone who hasn't dreamt of the stars, of space exploration. So yes, I think that space has a very important role to play in that more inspirational, abstract sense as well.
As Apostolic Nuncio and as representative of the Holy See, I started to approach this subject. At the very beginning, I asked myself, but why should the Church be involved in this? The first question, immediate question, is that space is not the future, but is the present. We are already in the era, a new era of space use and exploration. So that is a dimension of human life. That is a dimension where our actions and our decisions are taken and have taken with a very long-lasting effect. So these are moral decisions, and this is also of great interest for humanity, because we can build a humanity or we can destroy it if we make wrong decisions. And the Church, this is why the Church is involved. The message is, let's work and take it as a second chance We have behaved not always properly on Earth. We still behave sometimes not very correctly. And so let's capitalize on the experience we have to make the space experience, the space exploration, a good experience to the benefits of all.
You know, one of the things I like about the space program is, and getting to have gone into the International Space Station and do all of the science and the work up there, is it's not just for us, right? You are a part of something that's much bigger, and so it's something that it really benefits all of humanity, because the discoveries that we have on board the International Space Station, they are helping everybody down here on Earth.